This is the headline Britain cannot ignore, the story they want to bury. The man who saved hundreds of lives was killed by a police bullet. Not the terrorist, the very officers sent to protect him. The 6 minutes of terror. This is the tragic, unforgivable truth of the Manchester synagogue attack. Thursday morning, Yom Kippur, the holiest day. Heaton Park Synagogue was packed. Then, at 9:31 a.m., chaos. A car rammed the gates. Jihad Al-Shamie, 35, jumped out, knife in hand, fake bomb vest strapped to his chest. He had one goal: mass murder. He tried to force his way inside. The countdown had begun. Police response time was rapid, 7 minutes. But in those minutes, heroes were forged, and a tragedy was cemented. Adrian Daulby Melvin Cravitz, 2 innocent lives brutally taken. The heroes of the door. Melvin Cravitz, 66, was an innocent victim, a community pillar, killed on his way to worship. May his memory be a blessing. But inside the synagogue, a man stood against the tide of hate, Adrian Daulby, 53. Alongside another worshiper, Yoni Finlay, Adrian took a heroic stand. They used their bodies. They barricaded that door. The terrorist was right there, battering, stabbing, screaming hate. They held the line. They were the last defense. Think about the courage. Hundreds of souls inside. Their only protection? 2 brave men. The bullet that changed everything. And then the police arrived. Armed officers, responding to an active terror attack. A matter of life and death. They fired. They took down the terrorist. They stopped the massacre. But the bullet? It went through the door. It hit Adrian Daulby, the man who had just saved countless lives. He was shot in the chest. He died a hero. The Greater Manchester Police Chief Constable Sir Stephen Watson confirmed it. Daulby's injury, they say, may sadly have been sustained as a tragic and unforeseen consequence of the urgently required action. Unforeseen consequence? Is that what we call a hero's death now? The second tragedy, Yoni Finlay. And it didn't stop there. Another hero, Yoni Finlay, also shot by the police, injured. He is recovering in hospital. He was one of the price of courage. Let's cut the political fluff. Let's talk about the reality on the street. Adrian Daulby's family called his final act one of profound courage. He will be remembered as a hero. But here's the question that screams across Britain tonight. Why did his heroism come with this unbearable, unacceptable price tag? The police were fast. They were decisive. They saved hundreds. But why the lack of perfect accuracy? Why was the hero the casualty? The government will talk about unforeseen consequences. We say, it's time for answers, because when a community feels targeted and when their rescuers accidentally take a hero's life, where is the safety? Where is the justice? This isn't just a shooting incident. This is a moment that shatters public trust in the ability to protect the most vulnerable citizens. The wider context, hatred on Britain's streets. This isn't an isolated incident. This attack was on Yom Kippur, the day synagogues are most full. It was chosen for maximum impact. Chief Rabbi Ephraim Mervis said this is the result of an unrelenting wave of Jew hatred. A hatred that has been allowed to flourish in the UK. The numbers don't lie. The Community Security Trust reports a massive spike in anti-Semitic incidents since October 7, 2023. This is the atmosphere of fear our Jewish neighbors are forced to live in. We see the protests. We see the toxic rhetoric on campuses. And now we see blood spilled inside a synagogue complex. This wasn't just terror. This was a targeted strike against British Jews. Lammy HECKLED. And what was the political response? Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy went to a vigil near the scene. He tried to offer solidarity, but he was booed. He was heckled. Shouts of, "Shame on you," and "Go to Palestine, leave us alone." Why? Because the community believes the government has allowed this culture of hate to grow. Joanne Lazarus, a local, said the marches are spreading hatred, and she's scared to go into Manchester. Think about that. British citizens scared in their own city. Lammy begged protest organizers to stop the demonstrations this weekend. Keir Starmer said protests would cause further pain. But the organizers of certain groups refused to stand down. The question is, did Britain stop the hate that created him? IOPC and GMP. The Independent Office for Police Conduct investigation into Adrian Daulby's death is critical. It must be transparent. It must be swift. It must provide absolute clarity. The Greater Manchester Police were faced with an impossible situation, a matter of seconds to decide. But the Daulby family deserves more than unforeseen consequence. They deserve a full accounting for the death of their hero. This isn't about blaming the officers who risked their lives. It's about systemic review, training, policy. How do we ensure that the line between hero and victim is never crossed by our own forces again? Public call, unity or division? The community reaction, the heckling, the fear, is a powerful message to Westminster. Your platitudes are not enough. Your promises are empty. Our Jewish community feels abandoned. They feel unsafe. They are demanding action. They are demanding a stand against the tide of hate on British streets. Will the government finally heed this warning? Will we, the public, choose to stand with our neighbors? Or will we allow the political toxicity to breed more tragedy? This is a defining moment for Britain's values. Do we stand with the heroes, or do we stand by and watch the hate win? Adrian Daulby, Melvin Cravitz. Remember their names. Remember the profound courage that saved hundreds. We demand justice for Daulby. We demand safety for our communities. The tragedy is immense. The questions are terrifying. Don't let them sweep this under the rug. Comment below. What must the police and government do right now? Smash the like button if you demand accountability. Share this video to force the truth out. And subscribe to Britain Breaking for the ruthless truth on this developing national crisis.